My interest in country music began when I was just 2 or 3 years old. My dad tried to put a guitar in my hand to teach me chords at that time, and as I would grow, growing on up 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, I can remember him bringing home guitars and amps and wanted me to play.
My mother and dad played music, my brother played music, and I just kind of picked up the guitar one day and they showed me a few chords and took off from there.
The singer that I've always modeled myself after, as maybe I've even dressed a little bit like him, is George Strait. It's hard to beat King George.
I first started watching Elvis Presley when I was young and got me interested in music.
Some of the favorite songs that I've always had growing up, I've heard my dad singing, Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson and Merle Haggard. Those have always been great songs, and I've learned those songs. I enjoy singing those. The Fireman, that's my ultimate song that I've always sang. From the very first time I stepped on the stage, I sang that song, and I've sung it just about every time we've played since then.
My favorite country music song is He Stopped Loving Her Today.
You know, one of my favorite songs that I've learned to play on a guitar is the old Chuck Berry tune. Johnny Rivers redid it. Memphis, Tennessee. Long distance information. Give me Memphis, Tennessee. It's just a good guitar riff on there. I like playing it. I've learned from my dad how he played it, and that's why it's my favorite.
I usually play riffs behind a singer, play lead guitar behind the singer. I actually play piano and guitar.
You know, Daddy has always played by ear. He just hears music. I've said a lot of times that people have a little bit of a talent that God has given to them, and maybe I have a little bit of a talent, but other people just have a gift of music, that God has given them a gift. I don't have that gift. And He has tried to teach me how to play guitar and show me different things. He hears it differently than I do.
I recorded one time an album that had, I believe, 8 songs on it that I wrote all the songs. And back then, those days, it was a cassette. Later on, I had it transferred to a CD. And now, me and my son has a CD together called Like Father, Like Son.
As I was growing up, country music has always influenced our family. My dad was always playing when I was a kid. And then as I began to grow and join his group, I began to play with him. And our families would often go and listen and hear us perform. But then when I had daughters of my own, when my daughters were born, they were 9, 10 years old. I had them singing on stage with us, and I miss those days. We began to call ourselves Gage Country because it was my dad, Bill Gage, myself, Shannon Gage, and my 2 daughters, Kelsey Gage and Ashley Gage. And the 4 of us would sing and perform, and each one of us had a little bit different style, and we had many different. We had a variety of music that we could bring to the people that were listening that always entertained.
Later, the 2 girls got married, moved off out of town, and started teaching school. So we had to pick up a couple more people, and we started calling it Guitars and Cadillacs.
When I turned 18, I got married, and I suppose that has always been my dream, is to be a husband, to be a father, and playing music is a hobby. A lot of people have different hobbies. They go golfing or hunting or fishing, and that's good hobbies to have. My hobby is playing music, and I don't know that I've ever wanted to just be gone every night or every week off on the road away from my family. I wanted to be with my family, and that's more my goal than to be a country music singer or any superstar like that.
I sometimes think about how would I live without it. I love music, and I can't wait sometimes to get there and start playing.
I've always liked country music because he did, and I wanted to be like my dad. But by the time I was about 16, that's when I really began to have a strong interest in playing and wanting to perform, I began to learn all of the songs that he did in a night's time. And then at the time that I had my opportunity to play with him in his band, I already knew all of his songs. So it made it easy for me to step in and to join his band.
Country music actually comes from the heart and the soul. You play what you hear in your mind and your heart.
Country music today isn't what I learned as I was growing up and as I was learning to play. George Strait, Alan Jackson has a perfect song that they sang several years ago, Murder on Music Row. And I tell you, in that song, they talk about it that the drums and rock and roll guitars that's in today's country music, it wouldn't have been there like it was then. Country music today has changed in so many ways. Music has the ability to draw so many emotions. If you listen to the right music, it'll make you happy. If you listen to the right music, it'll make you sad. The same thing happens when you go on stage to perform. If you're up there to make someone else feel good and have a good time, that always brings a successful performance.
You got to have charisma. You got to have stage presence to be an entertainer on stage, and you got to sound good and play good.
If you ask me what it takes to be an entertainer, it's someone that wants to make somebody else feel good. As they're on stage, they want to make them have a memory of a song that we might perform, but it's a memory they might have had as a child.
A successful band consists of reliable, trustworthy, good musicians that knows the chord arrangements and the beat to the music, and they have stage presence.
You have to have band members that are like-minded to have a successful band. They need to have a similar taste in music. While not everybody's the same and we all have different backgrounds, we need to have the same goal as to each time that we go out to perform. We need to make sure it's the best performance for the people that are listening to us.
I love it. I love playing music. That's why I play.
I guess I play music today because my dad plays music. I want to be with him as long as he can do it. I tell you that I can see some in his age now that there's some things that he's not doing as well as he did before. But as long as he can, I'm going to play with him. Boy, I tell you, each time I get on stage to perform, I know there's many, many people that are much better than I am. But I tell you, I enjoy it. It's the most fun that you can have. You get on stage and you see people that will respond to you and applaud and like what you're doing. It really makes you feel good. And then it even makes you sing that much harder, want to put more into it and give them a good show.
It feels like the sensation kids get when they open up their Christmas presents. When you hear applause, that's more than getting paid for it.
With the internet today, it's easy to find the lessons that you need to learn to play guitar. So find you a good guitar, sit down and start learning. It'll make a change in your life. If you have a bad day at school, if you have a bad day at work, you can sit down and pick up a guitar and start playing, and you begin to forget all of your cares, all of your worries. I encourage you to learn to play an instrument. If it's piano, guitar, saxophone, trombone, whatever it might be, music makes a difference in your life.
Guitars and Cadillacs and hillbilly music is the only thing that keeps me hanging on.